Your goal in TechRace is to become the biggest and most valuable company, and you keep track of that on the value tracker. Everybody's going to start at 20, and they'll advance until somebody passes 100. Once somebody's scored 100 points or more, you enter the end game scoring part. The main board also has the different customers available out here, showing what sort of customer interest there is for the different products. There's 3 different colors which match the 3 different technologies, and different regions of the board start with a different number. Because you pull them out of a bag at random, they can come out very different for different games. Some regions might come out pretty balanced, some regions might come out heavily skewed toward one or more, and regions can come out with no interest in them at the start of the game. The difference here will probably shape how you develop your industries to make good use of what is available out here. Each player also has their own company board, where they keep track of their own individual parts. The player board has a couple different areas on it. There's where you keep track of your employees. There's where you keep track of the revenue, which is how you pay for those employees. And there's where you keep track of your technologies, the cool things that your company can do. The technologies are really important. They increase your revenue and they give you a ton of valuation, because ultimately this is, of course, a tech race. Each company also has their own CEO. So in this game, we have Teslump facing off against Amazoth. The CEOs give each company some unique advantages, which can help drive the strategy and hopefully give you the edge you need to come out successful. Teslump has an advantage where their automotive technologies are a little bit cheaper for them to develop, whereas Amazoth gets an increase in their hiring capabilities for the first 3 rounds of the game. A couple things to look at before we begin round 1. Over here, there are some goals, some awards that can be handed out as the game goes on. These were picked at random at the start of the game. There's 3 available in each game. So this one has first player to open offices in all regions, the first player to earn 10 or more coins in a single round, and the first player to hire 10 or more employees. Different companies might set these up as goals. When these are achieved, they're worth 10 evaluation points, and they are taken and collected. There's no losing these. Once they've scored them, nobody else can take one. They've kept it. Each round is broken down into 2 or 3 phases. The first 2 rounds just have 2 phases, and then we'll have a bonus round coming up. But the 2 rounds that are always there are hiring and actions. Hiring is where they will get a chance to hire or promote employees. Employees kind of show up in 4 different departments on the player boards. There's the office team, the sales team, the marketing and finance, and then the engineering and research team over here. In each area, there are some employees that are level 1 employees that can just be hired outright. In a lot of the areas, there's also a level 2 employee that has to be promoted from a level 1 employee. So up here in the office team, you can hire an HR officer. An HR officer will make it so that each round you get 1 more of the employee tokens. When that HR officer is promoted to an office manager, they'll still give that 1 employee token every round, but they also allow you to open a new office. So you can place an office into one of the regions where you don't already have a presence. This is important because you can only get customers from regions where you have an office, and you will get the bonus of where you put your token when you open that. Down here in the sales team, there's the sales rep. The sales rep allows you to take customers from the game board and move them into your company. They're now going to be someone who potentially is generating revenue for you. It has to be from somewhere where you have an office, and it has to be technology which you've developed. So this sales rep could potentially pull a red from this region. It could either go into your bench where you have a customer who is interested in your product and is waiting for it to release, so their potential revenue, or once you have your engineering team working, you can put it directly into the revenue zone. I'll talk about the revenue a little bit more when I talk about that engineering team. When you upgrade a sales rep, they go to a sales manager. A sales manager allows you to take 2 customer tokens. So you can go ahead and grab 2 instead of 1 when you're pulling from the board, or you can pull those 2 from another player's bench. You can go ahead and steal their customers from. Down here we have marketing and finance. These are a little different in that they're both level 1 employees, so you can hire either one. There's no promoting down here. The marketing officer lets you drive up demand for your product. So whenever they take their action, you get to add 2 cubes of the color of your choice to anywhere on the board. So if you want more demand for a product in your region, you can directly add them to your region as customers that you can then pull in the future. The finance officer just provides more money and more value for your company. So whenever they take an action, you can either get 2 coins or increase your valuation by 1 point. The engineering area is a little bit different in where there's 1 level 1 customer, but 2 level 2. The level 1 is the engineer. And the engineer works a little different from the other ones that we've seen in that they don't really take their action each turn. As long as you have an engineer, they give you 2 available spaces in your revenue area for you to put customers into so that they can earn you revenue. So when a customer goes in here, now I'm going to be earning 1 coin from them every turn in the game. An engineer allows me to put 2, and if I employ more engineers, I can go above that cap of 2. When I promote my engineer, one choice is to go to an engineering manager. The engineering manager works very similarly, except instead of increasing the cap by 2, they increase the cap by 5. The other option is to become a research scientist. One important thing to note, when I promote my engineer to a research scientist, I don't have an engineer anymore. So I want to be careful not to promote if I'm planning on using my revenue from here. I want to make sure that I don't lose that. But when I do, this is really great because a research scientist is what I use to get the resources that will allow me to increase my technologies. Remember, increasing technologies not only gives you a bunch more potential revenue, but it gives you a whole lot of valuation for your company. This is a tech race after all. The research scientists, when they take their action, let me pull 2 resources from over here on the market board. I can go ahead and look and pick any one of these. These were selected randomly at the start of the game. Each time one is taken, a new one is immediately flipped over to take its spot. So if I don't see the one I want, then I can go ahead and hopefully pull one and then get another one that's more aligned with my interest. Additionally, I can spend 3 coins if I have them to wipe the board out and refresh it entirely. I can do that up to 3 times per turn to hopefully get exactly what I'm looking for. Once all players have finished their hiring, we go ahead and move into the action phase. This is where things really happen in the game. This time we do need to go in turn order because getting to go first and do your actions first can make a big difference in what options are available to the next player. Tesslump up here is going to go ahead and go through each of the employees that they have on the board. One is a sales rep, so they're going to go ahead and use the sales rep action, flipping the token over to denote that it's been used, and go ahead and pull 1 token off of the board. Because they only have an office in one region, they can only pull from here, and because they only have developed their automotive technology, the red one, they're going to have to pull one of these red cubes. Because they have an engineer, they have some space to put it directly into here, so they'll put it in and start earning revenue off of that immediately. Now, the engineer didn't have an action to take, but I'm going to flip it over to show that I've gone through all of my employees so that I know I've taken care of things. The last thing I do in my action phase is keep track of paying my employees. I'm going to be earning 1 coin, but I'm going to have to spend 2. So that's going to be a net loss of 1 coin. Still have 7 and some room to grow the business in the future. Down here, it's now Amazov's turn to go ahead and take their go in the action phase. First, they're going to use their HR officer, which will get them one additional hiring employee token for the next round. And they'll use their sales rep to go ahead and pull from their zone and green. Now, because they don't have an engineer, they're going to put it here on the bench. It's not going to earn them any income just yet, but as soon as they get that engineer, they'll be able to move it over and start making some money from that. The marketing person down here is going to go ahead and let me add more cubes. They've got a really strong position getting energy from the sector, so they're going to add to it. I get to choose the color I want. I'm going to choose green for both cubes. I get to choose where I put them. I'm going to put them right here. And you'll notice, even though this started with 8, because I can add when and where I want, that number doesn't, it's not a limit that applies to me anymore. Now there's still a strong demand for my product in this region. And the last one down here, the finance officer, I'll go ahead and flip that over and immediately pick up 2 coins because I know that I have a lot of employees to pay for. Speaking of having a lot of employees to pay for, I did need to keep track of that. When I put them in on my hiring phase, I should have put my tracker over here on the 4 because now I'm at the end of my action phase and I need to pay for those employees. I have no income currently coming in, but I do have 1, 2, 3, 4 level 1 employees. Level 1 employees only cost 1 coin, which is great, but 4 of them means I'm going to be spending all 4 of that, and I'm down to 3. I definitely need to find some more sources of revenue for the next round. With round 1 being finished, the first player marker moves down, and we will start the next round. The game goes on with those rounds always happening. However, beginning in round 3, there's one additional phase that gets added on, the lobbying phase. Let's go ahead and take a look at that right now so we know what's coming up. Future rounds work about the same, but there are a few differences. One of which is, instead of just hiring employees, I also have a chance to promote them. When I go to spend my employee tokens, I can place them on level 1 workers to hire them, but I can also instead discard the token to move a level 1 employee I already have up to the level 2 version. They no longer are fulfilling that level 1 role, but they are now a level 2. I do have to pay the 2 coins for them, but it's almost always worth it for that better function. Additionally, every round from 3 on adds a new phase, the lobbying phase. At the end of the action phase, when we move into the lobbying phase, we're going to draw 3 different policy cards. We'll take the yellow ones in 3, 4, and 5, and the purple ones in 6, 7, and 8. So those 3 cards will pop up, and those are different policies that can be enacted. Some of them would be persistent and go on for the duration of the game. Some of them would happen immediately, and some of them will take effect at the end of the game. Those usually have to do with differences in scoring. Players will take a look at those because only one policy at most can happen. And the way that they choose them is they talk and they banter and they lie and they promise, the way that lobbying and policy goes. And when they've decided that they have a plan, they take their voting tokens, representing policies 1, 2, and 3, and they will secretly choose one of those tokens and a certain amount that they're going to bid to make that policy happen. All of those bids are simultaneously revealed. The coins are spent regardless of whether they were successful or not. But in this case, policy 1 had a bid of 2, while policy had a bid of 3. So all of the coins are spent, but only policy 3 is going to become enacted. So the rest go away, and policy 3 will remain for the game. In a game with more than 2 players, any bids for the same policy are added together. So 2 players can go together to not have to spend as much and still outbid a 3rd player. All right, armed with that information, you have everything you need to get started playing Tech Race. Good luck turning your business into a grand success.